Lab 100. Individualizing teaching and creating multiple sessions within the same classroom. What we're going to do now is we're going to look at creating multiple sessions using the same group of students. This is extremely useful and is a benefit when you have a large class and you want to keep all the students motivated doing different activities. This gives you the option of giving one group a listening comprehension activity, one group a model imitation, another group a pairs discussion or group discussion, thereby keeping everything moving in the classroom and keeping the students motivated, and thereby also individualizing the types of tasks to the students that require extra help or any needs in that sense. Okay, what we're going to do now, first of all, we're going to call all the students and we're going to speak to them all before we start the activity. By clicking All Call, right now I'm communicating with all the students in my class. Once I've finished, I click All Call again, and that stops the communication directly with the students. Next, I'm going to set up the first session. I do so by clicking New Session, selecting the students in this session, and I can do so by using the lasso. So I'm selecting these two students, and those two students will be added to a listening comprehension activity, and for that I'm going to use the MSU or the media source as my source area. I'm going to select the file American Slang and click Open. Right now what I want to do is I want to click Session Call, and I want to speak directly just to the two students in that session. Right now, as you can see, I'm speaking with Peggy and with Karen, and they're going to be doing the American Slang as a listening comprehension. Once I've finished talking to them and giving them their instructions, I click Session Call again, and right now I can start their activity. As you can see from the addition at the bottom of the page here, you can see that the blue students, Peggy and Karen, are attached to the listening comprehension activity using the American Slang file. What I want to do now is set up a second session within this group. As I click New Session again, and what I want to do now is select all of the remaining students. So again, highlighting them with the lasso. As we can see now, this has been color coded to the second activity. Right now I select the activity and I want them to have a pairs discussion. The source file, I'm going to click None for audio source, but what I'm going to use is I'm going to use my file here, which I'm going to actually add to the projector ready so that they can see it. Before I start, I'm going to now click Session Call, and now you can see I'm speaking directly with John and Charles, explaining what they're going to do. The other thing that you can see is that we've now obviously paired together John and Charles. If we were to do a group discussion, if we had more than two students remaining in the class, we'd be able to randomize the students who were talking to one another as pairs. Okay, once we finish speaking to John and Charles, we click Session Call again, and we click to start the session. Right now, we can see that both sessions are running simultaneously. Okay, if I were to listen in on John and Charles' pairs discussion, I could do so by clicking on John and Charles. Right now I'm listening to them. If I wanted to give any information or speak to them directly, I can do so by clicking on the intercom. Once I've completed what I want to say, I click Close. Obviously, in Peggy and Karen's case, because they're doing a listening comprehension activity, there isn't probably not much point in me speaking directly to them. However, what I can do now is I can click on the session, and I can see now that they've actually finished their audio comprehension session. So I can end that session. If I want to collect any of the materials in, if I could do so, I would be able to collect them by clicking Collect. But now I'm going to close. If I wanted to now start Peggy and Karen doing something different, let's say for example a reading practice, I can exit the current session and I can set up now a reading practice session for them. I can select a source. There's no audio source in this case, they're going to use a website that they're looking at, and I'm going to speak to them directly. Thereby I've now given them a session call. I'm speaking to them directly, giving them instructions. Once we're complete, I can click Start and they can start their next activity. Whilst this is reading practice, if I want to listen to them, I can do so very easily by clicking on Karen and listening into what's happening. At the same time, I can also click to the intercom to speak directly with them. As you can see, this is a very quick and easy way of having multiple sessions within the same group, and again, also very quickly and easily can you move the groups of students from one session to the next just by sitting with the teacher's machine, and you can observe the entire class. Once I've finished, let me close down all of my sessions. So I'm going to end the reading practice session for Peggy and Karen, and I don't want to collect the responses this time. I'm going to click close, and I'm going to exit that session. And now we have John and Charles' session. I want to end that session, and now we're going to exit that session as well.